All right, all right. Hey, thank you guys. I brought some guests. So, first of all, thank you all for coming out. It's great to see everybody here. Hopefully we'll have, I don't know, some nuggets or something for you today from these guys. And keep in mind, at some point, we'll probably open it up for questions from the floor. So if you have something on your mind, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes into this thing or so, we'll throw it down there. And if you guys have something, you can feel free to ask as well. But let me introduce our guests. We're very fortunate to have these two guys with us. When the season ended this year, Nathan was a free agent. He could have chosen to play anywhere. Joc was a free agent. He could have chosen to play anywhere, and I'd like to think we're all pretty fortunate that they chose us. 4 World Series between the two of them, right? Titles. All unique, in other words, never together. And so I'm sure a big part of the reason you guys are here this year together is you kind of wanted to do that one together, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You build yourself around other winners, and good things happen. So we both are looking for number 3.
So Joc, first of all, kind of a personal question, doesn't really mean anything, but your name is spelled J-O-C. That's one of those things that's kind of locked me up for years. When we write the name in the scorebook, is it short for something? Give us the story behind Joc.
I wish there was a story. I have 2 older brothers. One is Champ and one is Tiger. And Tiger's the only one with like a real significance behind it. My dad went to USC, played baseball, Southern California. And Rob Dato, he was a famous baseball coach, and they named the field after him. He would call all the players Tiger. So that's how Tiger got his name. But Champ and I don't know, just
cool
dogs.
Sounding names.
Yep.
All right, okay. Families, let's start with that real quick. Nathan, you've got 2 little ones. I don't know how little. I don't know what point they're not little, but you've got 2 young ones. What'd you guys do this off season? What was happening?
Yeah, I got my son Jace, he's 10, and my daughter Adeline, she's 6. When baseball's over, it's tough, especially the way the season ended. But being able to go home and just go back to being a dad, getting on the schedule of everything, learning, what all school activities and everything they have, trying to help out as much as I can because my wife holds it down while I'm gone. So we were able to go on vacation this off season. We went down to Mexico. It was a lot of fun, a lot of activities, but it was extremely busy just being on vacation and keeping the kids active.
That's awesome. Now the kids, they play sports. They have a lot of activities and stuff.
Yeah, my son's playing baseball. He didn't want to play basketball this year, which was fine, but my daughter does ballet and tap dance, and she enjoys it. She wants to really do anything that I want to do too. So we go fishing a lot, spend a lot of time together, color, just typical dad things, I feel like.
That's awesome. Never mind the smoke. Don't worry about that. Joc, what about you? You have a big family. You have 4 kids?
Big gang, yeah, 4 kids. Poppy is our daughter. She's 6. Wilder is 4, our son. Another son, Rhodes, he's 2. And Fitz, he's about 10 months. So 1 girl, 3 boys. And they're going to be running around here, this beautiful ballpark. And it's a lot. It's fun. It's busy.
And that is awesome. Congratulations on the newest edition there. That sounds like chaos too, right? I remember those days.
It's a beautiful chaos, but it is. It's a lot wrangling them around, trying to get them out the door, but we love it. It's fun, keeps us busy, and we've been bopping around with on different teams and whatnot. So it's nice to settle in here for a little bit.
Some people are built for chaos, right? Some people side note, personally, less structure for me is preferable, and I like when the kids are all over the map and doing crazy stuff, I don't really mind. I kind of like it. Some people, it's a little unsettling having screaming children and needs and all these sorts of things. Where do you guys come down on this? Do you like that? Because that can only be chaos.
Yeah,
what you're doing.
yeah. You embrace and enjoy the chaos, and I'm used to it. So yeah, it doesn't. It's not much to me. It's beautiful.
Yeah. What about it?
I'm not a huge fan of the chaos. And the kids, I feel like the teachers give them candy when they come home from school and they're just bouncing off the walls. So I try to keep it a little quiet, but at the same time, I mean, they're having fun running around the house and stuff, and we embrace it. I mean, we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I want to ask you about coming here. We'll start with you, Nathan. You spent the last 2 seasons here. Really good years, 12 wins each year. ERA, very consistent, a little above 3.5. Last year, it did some things that were incredible. I guess I really didn't even realize, relative to your career, how great a year last year was in terms of some of the strikeout numbers, innings pitched. It was arguably maybe your second best season in your career. The idea of pitching in Texas, being in Texas, I'm sure attractive. It seemed like that was the idea initially, and it worked out to your liking, apparently enough to come back for 3 more. So was that a part of it? Was it that this worked out so well for you these first 2 times around? You're like, I just kind of like to keep this going?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the goal every year, is to try to find a way to get better. And I think health has always been one of the biggest things for me. And I feel like I've been able to stay healthy for the most part and go out there and make my starts and have, good success. Obviously, working with Jonah and, Mike, Bobby, I feel like the game plan that we have going in to attack the hitters, Mike's one of the best in the game at developing a strategy for us to go out there and have success. And then me and Jonah have obviously had, we've worked really well together back there behind the plate too. So, those are comforting things coming back here. And, in 23, we were able to have the success and win, and we've proven that we can be a World Series championship team. And, obviously last year didn't go the way that we wanted to, but I've said it many times before, there's a lot that comes from a losing season. There's a lot of guys that gain experience that maybe those opportunities they wouldn't have had if we were winning and everything was rolling the way that we should have. But, we had a lot of injuries last year, so other guys had opportunities to step up and contribute. And, I have full confidence in our team that we're going to be right there where we need to be this year to go out there and have some more success and win another World Series title.
All right. Joc, what about you? How was it that the Rangers came to be your choice?
I think a lot like Nate said, this is a place that is fresh off winning a World Series, and that takes a tight-knit group. I think CY and Ross have done an incredible job adding some pieces and building a great culture here that I wanted to be a part of. And you look at the facilities, the fan base, everything about it is a first-class organization. So it made the decision pretty easy to be able to come here and play and bring my family and start grinding and figuring out what it takes to bring another World Series home. So,
I was just thinking, as you were saying that as a player, when you're making the tour in the summer and you bounce from one place to another, right? And you go through a town where it's just miserable. They're just not playing well. It doesn't appear that they have much of a plan, whatever the case, right? I'm sure you would say to yourself, well, I'm fortunate not to be in this situation. I'd rather not be playing in this situation. And I'm sure there are places where you're like, man, it looks like whatever's going on here could be really fun. Is that part of it? Are you taking inventory of that sort of stuff, especially when you're in a free agent year? Are you looking around and just trying to get a feel for what's happening on the other side?
Definitely. I think you play in basically 29 stadiums a year, and as a visitor you go around and you can see some facilities are a lot nicer, more well kept. The clubhouse staff, how they treat you, the spread, everything that goes about it. I think you're always just taking notes, I don't know. It's kind of like anything. It's like, yeah, that was an awesome experience. I really liked that 3-game set there. It's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday series, and you're playing in front of 30, 40,000 people. You notice those things. You also notice when you go to a place that does not have the amenities you need to prepare for the game. You're playing a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series, and there's 7,000 people out there. And just to perform under those circumstances, you're just not as excited. There's no extra boost in care, it's so that it makes it tough. So when you get in a really special place, you want to soak it up, and you gravitate to those types of places. And I think it is not uncommon that those are the places that are also winning. So I think all that comes together and is all similar.
Did you guys, either of you, have interactions, experiences, any sort of relationship at all with Chris Young prior to him signing you here or bringing you to Arlington?
I had to face him.
Yeah, so you had real firsthand experience.
Yeah, freaking 6'8" on the mound, and he's throwing like 88 and blowing it by you, and you're like, what is going on? But no, I've met him a couple times in the past through some close friends, but when he first reached out through free agency, you can just understand and hear the competitiveness, the willing to win, the care factor, the attention to details. Every box is checked that he's not going to leave a stone unturned to do whatever it takes to win, and he wants to build those same type of players in the clubhouse and have just everyone on the same page.
Along those lines, Nathan, I was going to ask you, I think one of the things that's happened here is CY came in, he had a vision, he sold that vision in a lot of ways, right, to Corey and to Marcus, and then started building the pitching staff and sold it to guys like you and Jacob deGrom. All right, so he tells you what his plan is, what his vision is, and you can feel it. There's no way, if you've ever talked to Chris Young, what you guys see, like, man, it's real. He's not, there's no bluffing. His passion and his interest in winning is as large as it could get. So then your experience then coming here and playing for him, did everything line up, right? Like with the vision that he was telling you, what you were thinking is happening here, how does that align with what you've actually witnessed?
Yeah, I mean, whatever he says, I mean, he means it. He's a proven winner as a player, as a general manager now too. And when we were coming over here, that's what it was. It was the vision that he had for us, and adding the right pieces to the group. To me, one of the biggest things is the clubhouse. The players that he gets, it's not just the talent, but it's the personality that they have and the makeup. And I think that's what helps make a team really good, because you have to be rooting for each other. You want everybody to have success. Obviously we're out here competing against the other team and against each other. But you put those aside, right? And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter like how well I go out there and I pitch that day. It matters about us winning the game, and that's the biggest thing. And in 23, we went out there and we made the moves that we needed to make at the All-Star, at the deadline. And once we got those, adding Montgomery, Scherzer, and getting Chapman, we filled the needs that we needed to do. And I think we did the same thing this offseason, adding the right pieces that we needed to make, having Joc, Berger, the bullpen arms that we got now. We're adding the right pieces, and now it's up to us to go out there and do our job and come together in spring training to go out there and win a lot of ball games.
So let's change direction just a little career path and background stuff. Both drafted by the Dodgers. You were just breaking to the big league level when Joc was drafted. And I think you guys may have overlapped in the organization for a year and a half. Is that about right?
I got drafted and I signed late, 2010, I think. Yeah, 2010. So I have to go to extended spring training No, not extended. What do they call it? The other one. No, I don't know. It was whatever. Instructional league. So I went to instructional league. I promise you, my first at bat, or like tracking live BP, I get in the box, have no idea who's pitching. They said, yeah, that was 98. Oh, all right. And I saw, so then after, I'm like, I don't think I'm cut out for this. Baseball is not for me. If that is rookie ball, like entry level pitching. And it just so happened to be Nate Eovaldi, like I think rehabbing or doing something, ramping back up. But yeah, my first at bat or whatever was off him.
No
and
way.
I was like, man, I'm cool. I'll go back. Let me go back to school and figure this out.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Full circle.
Did you know you were facing the? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is the first time I ever told the story. I didn't ever haven't even told him that. Yeah, it was just another live BP or whatever for him, but it was pretty memorable for me. And I mean, obviously, I met him after that, and then he went to still having a great career. So it's kind of like a cool story. Like, yeah, that was the first guy I faced, and he's throwing 100, and I'm used to 78 from high school.
What were you doing at Instructs then in 2010?
2010, I had hurt my oblique, so I was recovering from an oblique injury,
Okay.
making the comeback and everything.
That's funny. How many pitches did you see in that at bat?
It was probably like 5 or 6, but yeah.
Yeah.
I wish it was quicker. Get me out of there.
Oh, that is awesome. So, but outside of that, you probably didn't really have a whole lot of interaction then? Before,
No.
because you
Not
ended up.
much. I mean, I remember Joc coming up through the system, and it was always talking about his big bat. You know what I mean? Lefty, a lot of energy, and I think that's the same thing that he brings now. I think that's what's going to be the biggest thing is the energy that he brings every day to the lineup and to the guys in the clubhouse. I mean, he's going to have the at bat. I remember facing him last year. He's got a few holes, but you got to make sure that you get those pitches there, and if you don't, he's going to make you pay. And I remember that one, the cutter down and in, deep.
Made some adjustments since 2010.
Yeah. Well, I've always felt like, to tie you two together again, prior to Game 5 in Arizona 2 years ago, which was one of the just coolest pitching performances I've ever seen. We overuse the word, there's no doubt the grind word is way overexposed, but if ever there was a grind performance, you had to get out of a lot of stuff in that Game 5, and it was just brilliant. Prior to that, I think maybe the greatest World Series performance I'd ever seen was also yours, and that was Red Sox-Dodgers World Series, Game 3, in 2018. And just so he doesn't have to talk about himself real quick, the story goes, it's a low-scoring game, it's in LA. He was supposed to start Game 4. You had pitched, did you pitch in Games 1 and 2 in relief?
Yeah.
Okay. So now it's Game 3, and they're like, well, we'll give you the day off, because we'd like you to start tomorrow. So Game 3 is one of those games that ends up a 7-hour and 20-minute game, goes 18 innings, and as you can imagine, teams got a little strapped at one point there. And so Evo goes in and pitches 6 full innings and then into a 7th inning before the game ends. Literally, now they lost, but literally some teammates were in tears after the game, just reflecting on that performance. And it was, I don't know how to explain it, one of the craziest things I've ever seen. You were on the other side of it, which is awesome to me. You faced him a couple of times in that game. So tell me what you were feeling and thinking, and what your team was, what the Dodgers were sensing watching him do that in Game 3.
Yeah, I remember we wanted to get to the bullpen fast because we knew they were a little bit shorter on arms. I guess you said it was Game 3. He's thrown in the previous 2 games or whatever. So like you would not assume that he would be able to be up again or up for 6 innings. But yeah, he got up, and I mean, it was just mowing us down one after another, and no team could score. So yeah, I mean, it's not a comfortable at bat, and it was just, like you said, the grind of just all the pressure, all the lights on, and he's at his peak performance, throwing cutters, fastballs, everything's changeups to wherever he wants in the zone. And I was on the Dodgers then, and we had a good offense, and it was just like we were non-existent. So that's what he's capable of on the highest stage, and then he's doubled down and done it again, and he's going to continue to do it. So I'm excited to be on his side and play behind him now. So,
what do you remember from that game? What are your thoughts or recollections?
I mean, it's it was tough for me just because you go out there and you obviously want to finish on top. You go out there and you go that long in the game, and it's different walking off the field and, losing after one pitch. You know what I mean? Especially in the rotate, or being used to being a starter. It's like you go out there and it's like, you have the bullpen coming in, but coming out of the bullpen, you have to be perfect. And, I was thinking 1, maybe 2 innings and be ready for that start the next day. But, as my pitch count got higher, I knew that I was the last guy, and I had to go out there and just kind of leave it all out there on the table. And, both sides, we weren't scoring any runs, and it just kept going and going and going. And I don't know, you just kind of put the blinders on and you go out there, and again, it's just 1, 2, 3 inning. Just think 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and I fell behind Muncy at the end of the game, and I tried a backdoor cutter, which I had gotten him on previously, and he had a good pitch and hit it out, and then the game was over. And it's just kind of devastating right there at that moment to go out there and go that long in the game, and we're up 2-0 in the series, and now it's 2-1, and we still got 2 more games over in Dodger Stadium, and you don't want the tide to turn or anything. You let them have that momentum, because obviously it's a great game, and they came out on top, that night. But at the end of the day, we were able to, win it in the next 2.
Yeah, it was. Would you put that performance? How would you stack that one up next to your Game 5 start?
I mean, I got the loss in that one, so. I know the fact that I played in the game and helping our bullpen and everything. All of our arms were fresh. I was the only one who really wasn't available. But I enjoyed both of them. Obviously, being able to be on that stage in that moment, everything on the line. That's what we play for. To be able to go up against the best. And I like the 2023 though, just because we were able to win it, and that was the game to win the World Series.
We all know you're a Texan. Grew up in Alvin, the home of Nolan Ryan. You grew up in the Bay Area, in Palo Alto, right next to the greatest university on the planet, and a Giants fan growing up, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And Bonds would have sort of been
the GOAT,
peak Bonds around
the GOAT, yeah.
Your youth. Was that your guy then growing up?
I like Barry, yeah. He's the truth. I remember going to games. I don't know if you guys have ever been to, I think it was Pac-Bell Park at the time, but the Giants stadium, they have water in right field behind the fence, and the fence is probably it's like kind of higher because it's shorter. It's probably about 315 down the line, and it runs, and it's like a big brick wall. And when Barry was there, they would line up chickens, like not plastic rubber chickens, for every time he got intentionally walked. So if you went there towards the middle or end of the season, all you saw was just chickens along the thing, and it was just incredible. And now you see like guys like Aaron Judge and superstars, and like they never get intentionally walked, and they have great seasons. But no one. He would see one pitch a game and knock it out of the ballpark.
He'd literally see 85 strikes in a season and hit 73 home runs.
Yeah, it is one of the more impressive things I've seen in person, and then now playing. And I've played with some unbelievable. I've played with Seager, a first ballot Hall of Famer. I've played with a lot of them, Freddie Freeman, all these different guys. And I didn't see Barry up close like that every day, but if you just look at the numbers at the end of the year, all right, this is Seager. Wow, that's an unbelievable superstar. Great, cool. Like 900, 950 OPS is 30 homers, this. And then you go look at Barry's, and it's like 1,200, 1,400 OPS is 60, 50, 70 homers. You're like, oh, my God. Yeah. Like, it's incredible.
It was a different time.
Electric,
and obviously,
yeah.
Did you, I think kids inevitably kind of mold their play, their style, whatever, after somebody that they saw or who captured their imagination. Was Barry Bonds for you? Was there somebody else who you your dad played in the big leagues briefly.
He did, yeah. He was probably my main coach coming through all the way through high school and whatnot. So I have a lot to thank him for, all the sacrifices he's made to throw me batting practice in the backyard or whatever, take me to go play catch and do all that stuff, to tournaments. And now I got kids, and now I get home and they want to play catch, and I'm like, man, I just want to sit on the couch. So I know how tiring it is and how much effort he put into it. So I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah. What about, it's pretty hard not to see the similarities growing up in Alvin. There's another guy who was really, really good from Alvin, Texas. In fact, I think he's the only other Texas native to start an opening day for the Rangers. It's kind of wild that two kids from Alvin, Texas would be the only two to ever start an opening day for the Rangers. But you also, you throw really hard. And early in your career, I feel like that was a much bigger part of your style. Did you model yourself after Nolan Ryan?
Yeah, I feel like it's hard not to, growing up in the same town and everything, and, everywhere you go, it's Nolan. His memorabilia is everywhere. He gives back to the community. It's incredible. And, being in high school is all about the highlight kick and trying to throw it as hard as you can.
I was looking back through your stats and pitch usages and things like that over time. It seemed like around 2015, you go to the Yankees and things tilted just a little bit, right? Maybe leaned a little less on the power part of the game, started working in the secondary pitches more. What happened around that time in your career?
In 2015, that's when I really started to learn my splitter, and I think that really opened my eyes as to how effective, the change of speeds with the off-speed pitches and how much harder it is to hit those pitches. Everybody in the big leagues, I feel like now can hit a fastball, and if you can't, you're really not going to stick around that long. So, I had the fastball, slider, curveball at the time, and once I got the splitter, I saw a lot more swing and miss, and I saw a lot more success for myself out there. I was able to go deeper in the games, and then each year, like I said, you try to find a way to get better and better, and I added a cutter to the game, and then now it's just the mix of the 5 pitches and really trying to keep the hitters off balance.
I want to give you guys a chance. I'm a little bit of a ball hog, but I want to give you guys a chance to ask some questions here in a second. Couple last ones for you. Joc, for hitters, their bats can be kind of a personal thing, right? Some guys are super particular about their bats. Some guys are maybe a little less so. As I understand it, you're open just to the feel of the moment.
Right.
What's your relationship with bats?
My relationship with bats, I'd say, is very close. I like my bats. I don't necessarily like my bats. I just like bats. And I don't know. I have like a crazy memory, and like by the end of spring training, I'll be able to tell you what everyone's swinging, like what size. I don't know. I'm in the bat room a lot, just seeing, and then a lot of times they go for test runs, and a lot of times they make it into the game. It's baseball's a game of failure, especially hitting, and maybe I'm not as mentally tough as some people that just use the same bat and stay consistent. So I'm always kind of switching it up. Just this one feels good. I'm going to take it out there. And last year I actually started something where I would ask for someone on the other team that I thought had a cool bat or was like I respected the way they played the game or whatnot. And it's actually cool. So I got on first base in Miami, and I asked Berger for a bat because I really liked the way he swung the bat and whatnot. And now we're teammates, so I'm kind of excited about that. But yeah, he swings Old Hickory.
So yeah, you just whatever kind of feels good in the moment. Let's give it a shot.
Yep.
I love that. I think and personally, I think I bet there's some science behind why that actually works.
Yeah,
too.
maybe. I think I like my bats with my name on it so much that like I don't want to break them, and like I'm too like careful with them. But then when I get someone, I'll just swing it as hard as I can and let it rip. I don't know, but I would say probably 90% of my at bats last year were not with my actual bat name on the bat. Someone else getting credit for it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with pitchers, they can be kind of particular about their game day routines. Some guys are psycho, and some guys are a little chill. But if you could walk us through a little bit of your game day patterns and routine?
I think it's a big routine of mine. I like to be able to do the same things. It's just kind of the preparation. It's hard having to wait till the game time to start. I have a bad habit of just, I don't know, I feel like I pace around a lot. So I usually get to the field around 3:30 on the game day, and then go over my game notes, and then I move to the training room. And I'm not the guy in the clubhouse that you can't talk to, though. You know what I mean? I kind of keep it relaxed, and if you got anything for me, obviously we're not joking around about things. On game day and stuff, it's like guys know that I'm starting that day, but if they got anything for me, it's like I'm easily approachable and stuff on game days. So, I've got my routine around 5:30, 6 o'clock, where I go into the weight room, start moving around, getting the body feeling right, and then we go over the game notes one more time to make sure everybody's on the same page with Mike, Jonah, and Bobby, and then go out and get on the field around 6:30, 6:35, and make our way to the bullpen and get ready.
Awesome. And the last thing, real quick for me. Corey Seager, you both have plenty of history with him going back to Dodgers days. You roomed with him at some stage?
Sorry, what?
Corey Seager, did you room with him at some point? Spring training, something
yes.
Like that?
Yeah, we roomed in spring training, and then we roomed in, I think in 2016, we had a big house with me and him and Trace Thompson and Alex Wood. Okay,
so tell us something. Corey is not in love with sitting up here and just shooting the breeze. Tell us something about Corey Seager maybe that we don't know.
He loves playing cards.
He loves playing cards?
He loves playing cards in the clubhouse. Him and Smitty.
Frozen M&Ms.
Really?
Yeah, peanut M&Ms. Oh, yeah. I don't know if he does it anymore. This was young Corey.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you went in the freezer, there was the Costco size of shareable frozen M&Ms, and he would just hammer those. I remember that. Frozen peanut M&Ms.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. Do we have a chance to take a couple questions from the crowd down here? Oh, yeah. Maybe line up. That's a great idea. Maybe you wouldn't mind maybe just saying your name before you ask the question. Yeah, go ahead. What do we got?
Hi, my name's Kurt, and just really want to thank you both for being Rangers this year, re-signing, and joining us. We're really excited to have you both. Could you both comment on what you're specifically working on in your game this year?
What you're working on this offseason, what you were trying to perfect or improve?
Yeah, I'm trying to work on a little two-seam right now, a little two-seam runner. I think it'll help me get in on the righties a little bit better, and then obviously just kind of trying to perfect the other 5 pitches.
I think baseball, you're always looking to perfect your craft, and it's interesting. Like, there's hard work and working hard and always trying to improve, but at the same time, you don't want to try to overcompensate your weaknesses and then you lose some of your strengths. So you always have to be aware of what you do well. You want to keep those things sharp, but Yeah, so I think just all aspects of the game look to improve a little bit without losing any of the top end stuff.
I have a question for you, Nathan Eovaldi. How do you throw fastballs?
What advice could you give a 8-year-old kid who wants to be a pitcher, and you're obviously one of his favorite pitchers? So,
What was the question?
So how does he throw his fastball?
what advice could you give a kid starting to pitch?
Yeah, so advice for young
Yeah.
guys starting.
I mean, for me, especially being as young as you are, is go out there and have fun and throw strikes. Let your defense help you out. You don't have to be perfect out there, and you're not worried about spin rate or anything like that. Just go out there, have fun, and fill up the strike zone.
Good question. What about over here, young lady?
My name is Lily, and my question is, what is your motivation going into this season?
What is your motivation going into this season?
I want to win a World Series. That's my motivation.
Also, Evo, you are my mom's favorite player. Just a compliment.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mom.
Thank you.
Hey, my name is Marvin. This is for Joc. I'm a big Dodgers fan. I saw you.
Yeah, you're at the wrong
I saw
fan
you-
fest, my
no,
guy.
it's for you. Saw you so many years, Joctober, and then the relationship you have with your brother. I'm glad that you're bringing that here. And I am a Dodgers and Rangers fan, but how does it feel to potentially bring Joctober to the Texas Rangers?
Yeah, I would love it. It is we had some awesome times in LA, and looking to make new memories here in Texas. And I'm sure my brother Champ, I think you mentioned, he'll also be coming around the stadium, and he always everyone likes him more than me, so he'll give you guys a nice little laugh around the stadium when you guys see him.
You know, speaking of that, real quick on Champ, your older brother?
Yeah, my oldest brother, I think he's 36 now.
Okay. And you guys are very close. And Jake Berger announced
Yeah.
yesterday
Yep.
his daughter was born with Down syndrome, and he's starting a charity to help raise awareness and whatnot for folks dealing with sometimes the complications that come with Down syndrome. But I know that Champ's a big influence in your life, and I don't know if you've had a chance to talk to Jake much about what he's doing and how you guys might work
we were
together.
just flying yesterday here, and I saw that about Jake, why he chose number 21, and I showed it to my mom, and then she's like, "Oh, so cool! Champ will have to, when he comes out, meet him and meet was it their baby boy, or
Yeah, little baby daughter, and I don't know her
baby
name.
daughter?
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. So yeah, it's incredible. Champ is very functional. We're very fortunate for how independent he is. He's worked when I was in LA. He helped with the Dodgers. He helped in San Francisco in the clubhouse and in one of like the restaurants, and then he also helped in Arizona. So Texas is a little far, but he wants to come. He's already texted me a bunch. Said, "Hey, you need your hype guy out there," and I said, "All right, I'll see what I can do."
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay. Joc, glad to have you as part of our organization. Nathan, I got a question for you. Number one, what's your relationship with Jake DeGrom and the rest of the pitching staff? And then what are players like Rocker and Leiter? How do you think they're going to do for our team this year? And I think I can speak for everybody. Thank you for bringing a World Series to the Metroplex. We waited so long, and you changed the idea of what being a true Texas Ranger fan, and thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we're very close. All the guys in the pitching staff, the rotation, I think that's what makes us so good is, having each other's back and supporting one another. And, DeGrom's looking great. He's healthy. He's going to be ready to go this season. So we're definitely excited to have him back. And again, I think Rocker and Leiter, a lot comes from, a season like last year, right? Like they got a good opportunity to be in the rotation to see what it's like to make a start every 5 days. And I think you saw the upsides that both of them had. Leiter was able to start, he was throwing a lot more strikes and he was starting to go deeper into the games. And I mean, he's got electric stuff, and then same with Rocker. It's, you know, there's not many guys that have the pitches that he has. And I think it's him coming out. You know, he had a really good first start, and the second one didn't go so great, but then he was able to bounce back from it and, you know, finish the season strong. And I think coming into spring training, they're going to show what they have, and they're obviously trying to, you know, earn another spot in the rotation, and they're going to be ready to go.
Yeah. By the way, to your point about bringing the World Series here and changing the way everything is viewed here, the first pitcher ever in Major League history to win 5 games in a single postseason. It's just an amazing postseason. I'm told that we had time for one last question.
Again, congratulations when you were on the road. Like, you made history, y'all, again.
Thank you.
Now, what's the team's plan going against upcoming teams?
Going against other teams?
Upcoming teams, like when you're on the road, or you're going to try to continue that success? Anything special from home and visiting?
I didn't hear the question.
Anything different from home on the road?
Yeah, so the difference between road and home, is that what you're saying? And yeah, I can't explain it to you, but the audio up here is not very good for us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. So the approach for these guys, how different is it when they're on the road versus when they're at home?
For me, I think that's part of like having a good routine. When you have a good routine, you kind of keep it the same whether you're at home or on the road. Obviously, the stadiums are a little different, and like the things that we have in the clubhouse, like our facilities here, we have everything we need. Sometimes you go on the road, they don't have everything that you're used to having. So you have that good routine, and I think it helps you go out there to be able to have the success. For me in my starts, I try to keep everything exactly the same, whether I'm on the road or whether I'm at home. By the time I'm done in the bullpen, I should be ready to take them out at any time. So each team's a little different with how you want to attack them, and you know who's hot and who's not, things like that. But I just try to make sure that I'm as prepared as I can be to go out there to give the team the best chance to win.
Joc?
Yeah, like you said, you build in these routines, and I mean, obviously, you can't be a slave to just the routine because not every place has the same amenities. But you have a core group of stuff that you really like, that gets your body ready, that gets you feeling good. A lot of times on the road too, not as many families travel, so there's more like guys hanging out in the rooms after the game or going out to team dinners, getting lunch or brunch on the way to the field. There's a lot more of like, that's when a lot of like the hanging out stuff happens, because when everyone's home, it's you have to get to the field at around 1 because you do everything before. So you're really just with your family, you go to the field and then you go home. So on the road's more times to relax after a game, you know, grab a drink or do whatever you do, and then play video games together, do stuff like that. It's more team bonding, I think, happens on the road, in the hotel, and the travel, and those are some of my favorite memories in baseball.
Well, thank you all for the questions, for the attention, for the applause for these guys. One last time, we're super excited. Joc, great to have you in a Texas Rangers uniform. Looking forward to seeing some Texas-sized bombs. And of course, Nathan Eovaldi, World Series champ, anchor of the staff. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.